Hey everyone, this is Ravi from Simply Learn. Welcome to this Facebook ads full course video for 2021. In this full course, we will be covering topics like what and how Facebook ads work, the various kinds of Facebook ads, how the Facebook algorithm works, Facebook Shop and live streaming, and how it compares with Instagram. We'll also tell you some tips and strategies of how to make the most of the platform. For this video, we have our experts Rob and Rahul taking us through all the topics. So without further ado, let's start by talking about Facebook ads. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to never miss an update from Simply Learn.
In a world where a lot of competing different products satisfy the same requirement, you have a lot of advertisers who want you to try their product. And then you have other advertisers who want you to try their product. Try my product. Try my product. Try my product. Try my product. My product's the best. No. My product's the best. Try my product. Well, I want you to forget all that and try my product. Forget about those other advertisers. Try my product. Well, there's only one way you can prove your product is better than the rest, and that's with powerful advertising. And one of the best ways to advertise on the internet is via social media and through the largest social media platform in the world, and that's Facebook. So today we're going to talk about Facebook Ads Tutorial. And I'm excited to teach this class. My name is Rob Sanders. I'm with Simply Learn, and today we are going to talk about all the different ads that Facebook has to offer. So, introduced back in 2007, the Facebook ads platform has grown tremendously over the last few years. Almost $4 billion of revenue in 1 year. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of advertisers. Why is there a lot of advertisers? Because a lot of people use Facebook. It's a popular platform. So not only is it popular, but it's popular with advertisers because if you're advertising on Facebook, you have the opportunity to share your product and your brand with users who you think are going to buy your product or associate with your brand. And on Facebook, you can do that a number of different ways, specifically in somebody's newsfeed. And specifically that person's newsfeed that again is potentially interested in your brand, your product. So there's a lot of ways to advertise and a lot of reasons why you want to advertise. So I just mentioned one of the reasons. Hey, it's an opportunity for you to reach out to people who are targeted, who are specific to your product and your brand. So not only that, but you combine that target audience with the amount of time that people spend on Facebook. Okay, people spend a lot of time on Facebook. In fact, not only do people spend a lot of time on Facebook, there's a lot of people on Facebook. In fact, 2.27 billion in the third quarter of 2018. And so when we say spend a lot of time, we mean going to that Facebook profile at least once a day. Okay, so a lot of eyeballs throughout the day checking their newsfeed on Facebook. Facebook also enables you, the advertiser, to find the perfect audience. And so that's the great combination. A lot of people on Facebook and targeted audience. So it's a platform that allows you to put your product in front of people based on specific interest, specific demographics, specific location. So you're really putting your product out in front of the right people at the right time. And so the other positive and pro about Facebook is it's lesser spend, greater reach. And what do we mean by that? Well, traditionally, Facebook is a little bit cheaper than other online advertising models. It is definitely a lot cheaper than your traditional advertising models. And Facebook has been known to have good return on investment because it's cost a little bit less than other advertising models and other advertising platforms. So that's the other benefit to being on Facebook. So if you're into building a brand, you want to be on Facebook. Why? Because it helps you increase your brand awareness. It's going to help you allow users to know what your brand is all about. Because remember, You're putting your brand in front of like-minded people, or people you think that are going to associate with your brand, that are going to associate with your product. So you put your brand out there, you incorporate your advertisement in somebody's newsfeed, it's going to add value. It's going to establish trust and credibility, especially if that person's friend is associated with that brand. So instant credibility if friends and family members of a person on Facebook are associated with your brand. So it has the opportunity to really lend a lot of credence to somebody who is on Facebook, active on Facebook, and is your targeted demographic. And the great thing about Facebook is it also has other features, other advertising features such as retargeting. So you could target people who've already expressed an interest in your service or product. But if they didn't go through the conversion process, meaning they didn't go all the way through and buy your product, you can certainly reach out to them again. Just like your traditional retargeting options on, say, Google or some other advertising platform, Facebook works the same way. We want to be able to reach out to people who aren't fully committed at the point in time, but we can reach out to them at another point in time. And so Facebook's advertising platform allows us to do that. So it's a great feature that we could take advantage of that we'll talk about more throughout this session. And then it helps increase revenue, sales, and leads. And that's primarily what most advertisers are after. You know, more revenue, more sales, more leads. So Facebook allows us to educate our audience, again, a targeted audience, about a specific product we have to offer. So the more our audience knows about our product, especially if their friends and family members and colleagues are using the product, then the more likely they're going to purchase. So if you go back to the other feature, higher revenue, less spend, this is the primary reason. Because you have a chance to influence somebody who's very targeted, who's very active on the platform, and who may have like-minded people in their life associating with your brand and product. So it's a perfect combination for advertising. Perfect combination. And so today we're going to talk about all the different types of Facebook ads. And we're going to start out with the single image ad. And the single image ad are just single image advertisements that have an optional text on top and a link description that links to the website. So single image ads are probably the most popular. You can see them on probably your own Facebook feed if you look. So in fact, I'll just jump over to my Facebook feed right now. And if I go there, what do I see? I see a single image ad here, and it's from Shopify Partners. So become a Shopify partner at e-commerce to your list of qualifications. So Shopify must be, a brand that is trying to woo my business. Okay, so they know that somebody that I'm associated with, or maybe I fit their demographic, so they're targeting my newsfeed with a single image ad. So that's what a single image ad looks like. It's simply just one single image with some description. And the great thing about this single image, if you haven't noticed, is the pixels are pretty large. It's 1200 by 628, so it kind of stands out a little bit. It's not your traditional thumbnail. It really pops when you look at the newsfeed. So again, if I go back to my newsfeed here, you can see it just really stands out within the newsfeed. So I can't miss it. If I'm a targeted part of their targeted audience, it's hard for me to, not see this ad interact in some way, especially, again, if I know somebody in my network on Facebook, or either that be a friend or family member, is associated with that product. Okay, in addition to the single image ads, Facebook also has multi-product ads, or also known as carousel ads. And so what the carousel ads do is allow you, in carousel form, allow you to rotate different ads with different messaging and different call to action. And so here you can see Simplilearn has a example of a carousel ad where they're showcasing their different courses. So this allows users to view a range of all your different products and services. If you have multiple products and services to offer, then the carousel ads would be a good option for you. So in addition to the carousel ads and single image ads, it gets a little bit more sophisticated in terms of technology, where Facebook allows us to offer up video ads. And so video ads are interactive. It's a good way to really showcase your product, your brand, your service. And the great thing about the video ads is they can go from just a few seconds all the way up to 2 minutes, or excuse me, all the way up to 120 minutes. And so you can really put a lot of time and effort into the video ads to really put your brand out there. And so the one thing about video is it is interactive. Most people engage with video, and they tend to get about 10 to 30% more views than other forms of ads. So the video ads are really a popular way for you as an advertiser to put your brand or product out there. So you can put your brand and product out there in not just a few seconds, but really tell a nice complete story to get the engagement, to get the person to take the action you want them to do. So that's why video ads have become very popular, because they tend to get more engagement, more interaction than your traditional single image ad or say your carousel ad. So Facebook also allows us to advertise something called lead ads. And what lead ads allow us to do is obtain user details. Okay, so we can acquire or get an email address or phone number from somebody who's interested in our product or service, and that person doesn't even have to leave Facebook. So if you look here in the example, here we have the ad, somebody clicks on sign up, and they get this form submission. And the great thing about the lead ad is that it can sync up with any CRM, or most of your popular CRMs. I should say, for example, Salesforce as a good example of a CRM where somebody fills that out, the information goes directly to Salesforce. And so lead ads are really good if you're trying to generate, leads for your business. And the form itself, the interaction stays right in Facebook. And so that's the great thing about it. They don't really have to leave the platform. Another form of advertising on Facebook are slideshows. Okay, so unlike the carousel ads, which rotate, and the carousel ads, remember, rotate and showcase different products or services, these ads are interactive, but they're rotating different imagery. So it allows you to really put your best images out there with a really strong call to action, just like you see here with the Simply Learn example. Okay, so they're showcasing, their different classes, and then they have the Get Started Today call to action to really punctuate the slideshow ad. So what's interesting is you can really gauge a person's interest by throwing different products or images out there. You can really immerse a user's experience here by showing different images. And then the last type of ad on Facebook is called a collection ad. And so these ads combine basically your video, your slideshow, or your product images taken from your product catalog. Okay, so if you're an advertiser who wants to advertise several products at once, then this could be a great option for you, the collection ad. So here you could see the Simply Learn example. Here they're showing, not only, some good slideshows and imagery with some good messaging below that. So before we get into the steps for creating an ad on Facebook, let's talk about some of the important changes that have happened on Facebook recently in light of data sharing. So really what Facebook's done is they've made an important change on how user data is being used for advertising. And so what Facebook's done is they removed something called a partner category, and that was an ad targeting program which the targeting option was based on data provided by a third-party partner. So if you're an advertiser and you had a third-party partner that provided some targeted options to you, that was known as a partner category. And in summary, Facebook has removed that program. And so now the only way you can gain user information is if they provide that voluntarily, like the lead ad, for example. Now, you have to get the data directly from the third party now. So you can't have that third party give you that targeting option anymore. You could certainly, again, capture the data yourself by relying on lead capture landing pages, as an example, or the lead ads. And you can certainly still outsource your advertising to lead gen agencies and media buying companies. Okay, but the partner category has more or less gone away. Okay, so now let's get into how to create a Facebook ad. So what are the steps? So the first thing you'll have to do is set up a campaign. So when you're setting up a campaign, you have to select what kind of spending you want to do for your advertisement and what you want to achieve. Okay, so you have to, in other words, identify the goal. Okay, so with Facebook, you have two opportunities at hand here. You can jump into an auction. Just like Google, what you're going to do is your ad's going to enter into an auction. And so this is where you can decide how you want to spend your money to achieve your goals by choosing an appropriate bid strategy for the auction. So in the auction, you're competing with other advertisers. Another option is you could do reach and frequency. And so with reach and frequency, you'll be able to advertise to your brand's audience with a fixed cost. So reach and frequency allows you as the advertiser to better predict the delivery, cost, and reach of your branding campaigns. So with auction, you have more choice, you have flexibility, you have scalability, but not a lot of predictability, okay? Because again, you're going into an auction, and your auction is going to be competing against other advertisers. So this option is available to all advertisers, and you can have pricing that you can change during the auction price process. So that's the unpredictability part, is the pricing. So pricing can fluctuate during the auction because you have different advertisers who are trying to achieve the most prominence for their ad. With reach and frequency, you'll be able to plan and set up your campaigns and actually set it up so it's more predictable on how the delivery is going to be done with reach and frequency. So more predictability with reach and frequency because you could set everything up in your campaign. Okay. So again, with the reach and frequency, you'll be able to advertise with a fixed cost. Auction, you're not necessarily going with a fixed cost, you're going with more scalability, flexibility on cost. That can change. Okay, so once you choose your objective for your advertisement, then you need to choose the type of advertisement you want to do, and it's based on your objectives. So what's your objective? Is it awareness, to drive awareness? Is it to drive consideration? Or is it to drive a conversion? So these are the three objectives available to you for your advertising. You want to choose one of those objectives. So let's take a look at each of these objectives available to you. Okay, so let's start out with awareness. So awareness can help with creating an interest for your product or your service. So when we say awareness, we're thinking maybe brand awareness or product awareness to get out there in front of people. Okay, so with consideration, it's a little bit different than awareness, but not so different in that we're really aiming to get people to think more about our product and service and have them take the next step. So with awareness, you're introducing your product and service. With consideration, you're getting people to take the next step and start looking for information about the product or service you're advertising. And then conversion is kind of that final step. If you're really after conversion, you really want that person to make the decision. Okay, so they're either going to buy or use your product or service. Okay, and so that's the conversion objective. So you have to choose one of these three objectives here. Is it going to be awareness? Is it going to be consideration? Or is it going to be conversion? And so let's go back to awareness. Okay, so if we look at awareness, under awareness, we have brand awareness and we have reach. Okay, so when we look at brand awareness, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase awareness about our brand or the product in our brand. So these types of objectives, meaning awareness, don't really emphasize interaction. Okay, you're not really trying to get somebody to purchase or buy something or opt into a newsletter. Really, your goal as an advertiser with brand awareness is to get your product out there so people are aware that it exists, okay? Let alone forget about buying it or opting into a newsletter. Your goal with awareness and brand awareness is to get people to see that you're existing, your product exists, your service exists, it's available. And really, the aim is to create high brand recall. amongst users rather than focusing on generating revenue. So when we say, high brand recall, what we mean is, hey, if your brand is out there and you are really pushing it out there amongst a large targeted demographic audience, then the next time that audience sees your brand, they're going to be able to associate with it. Okay, it's not going to be foreign to them or the first time they ever seen it. You really want them to recall, hey, I know that brand. I've seen that brand before. Okay, that's kind of the reaction you want to get from a brand awareness. Hey, that's a cool looking logo. Or, man, that product looked interesting. Now I'm going to take the next step. So that's what brand awareness really needs to do. It needs to create that recall for your audience. Okay, so let's take a look now at reach. So with reach ensures that our advertisement is seen by the maximum number of people within our target audience and budget. So with reach, we're really trying to reach or get our ad out there to as many people as possible, given who we're trying to target and given the amount of money we have to spend. So it helps to target a smaller audience to visit your website, watch your video, or even convert on your website. Okay, so that's with reach, we're just really trying to get it out there. Okay, so let's move on to consideration. So we talked about awareness, we talked about brand awareness and reach. With consideration, we have, people who are willing to take that next step. Okay, so if we're targeting a specific demographic and we're looking at consideration, we really want them to do something with our ad. We don't want them just to recall it or see it for the first time. We want them to take that next step. And so with consideration, we have traffic. So if we have an ad, the least we want somebody to do who's seen our brand before is at least click on our ad. Okay, so we want people to, click on our ad and go to our website. Really, that's a goal of consideration is, hey, I know that brand. I've seen that brand before. Let me click on this and see what they have to offer. So this might involve them listening to a podcast or reading an article or being introduced to an app. So really you're setting the stage for further down the funnel by further introducing them to something that's on your website. So you really want them to take that next baby step. The next baby step is clicking on the ad, going to your site, and further educating themselves about your particular product or service. So Facebook shows these advertisements to people within your target audience based on their past behavior. Okay, so that's a great thing about Facebook. You can really get targeted here with your audience. Okay, so engagement. So we talk about traffic, we're going to talk about engagement. So these types of ads are useful when we want users to engage more with our ad. For example, we can, really have an advertisement or a post that will allow people to like it, they can respond, or even take advantage of an offer. So that's what we mean by engagement. We really want people to react positively within Facebook about our ad or our post. Okay, so it can help with building an engagement audience for your Facebook page that can be used for future advertising campaigns. So we're really getting people to take that next step. And what's that next step? If they don't go to our website, they can like what we have to say. And then we can have app installs. So that's another option to us for consideration. So app installs are great if we want to send users to an app store, for example, so they can download our app. So if we're really pushing an app that we just developed, then an app install could be a good opportunity under consideration to allow that user to take that next step and download your app so that at a later stage they can go and interact with the app. We have video views. So video views are good advertisements when you're promoting your product or service and you really want a high number of views. So remember early on we were talking about the types of ads available on Facebook. We talked about video views, how they get 10 to 30% more engagement. Well, that's really what we want videos to do. Under consideration, we really want people to understand what we're trying to do and really engage with our product. And so they could turn around and like it. They could turn around and push it out to their friends. So video, we know, is high engaging with an audience. And so having a video allows you to really allow that video to potentially go viral. Okay, so video views help users engage and enables the creation of an audience which can be used for future advertisements. Okay, so highly engageable, interactive, allows people to, really take that next step with your product or service by really getting to know what you're all about. Okay, then we have lead generation. So lead generation is interesting because remember those leads ads we mentioned when we were talking about the type of ads that Facebook has to offer? Well, lead ads, or if you have a lead generation type ad, really what you could do is you can just collect the information. So if really somebody's interested in your product or service right away, then you can generate a lead ad and allow them to say, hey, you know what, I'm interested. I'm going to sign up for your newsletter. Or yes, I'm interested in your product or any future giveaway or promotion you have to offer. Here's my email address, here's my name, here's my phone number. So lead ads are great for consideration because somebody knows your ad, they've likely engaged with you, they like what you have to say, and they're willing to take that next step. And you can integrate your lead ads with third-party apps that's tied to your CRM. So, for example, Salesforce. Lead ads can sync up right with Salesforce, and then you can then follow up with that user at a later point. So that's consideration. So we have a lot of good options available to us under consideration. We could drive traffic, video views, app installs, just regular engagement, and then we got lead gen. So we got a lot of opportunities for consideration if you're really trying to target people who are already familiar with your brand or product or service. And then last but certainly not least, we have messaging. So with messages, these ads aim to convert a user's interest in a product to a successful sale or conversion. So it targets people who are more likely to respond through Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is a service that is integrated nicely in with Facebook. And so with Facebook Messenger, you can communicate with that person directly just through Messenger. Okay, so it could be a chatbot or it can be a rep who can act as customer support or provide more information about the product or service. So you can use Messenger to your advantage. You can talk right away to somebody who is really interested in considering your product or service. So this is kind of the capstone of consideration because it takes into account one of Facebook's most popular features, which is Messenger, and allows you as an advertiser to use that feature to engage with your targeted audience directly. Let's turn our attention to the last objective, which is conversion. So under conversions, we have conversions, product catalog sales, and store visits. So for conversions, really, this is the end of the funnel. This is really the part of the funnel where we want people to take action. So ads related to the objective of conversions really aims to increase, whatever the goal is of your website. So if it means signups or registrations for your services or sales or downloads or any desired action on your website, then that's the conversion. Okay, so that's what we're aiming to achieve when we are tying our ads to conversions. Okay, so you have conversions and you have pure product catalog sales. So for product catalog sales, these could be ads to help promote your e-commerce store or other products in your store portfolio, So think of Amazon, think about all the products they have on their website, they are probably likely going to choose, product catalog sales because it really will help really push traffic to the store and really get somebody to convert either for a particular product or get them to look at other product categories and buy something there. So really, product catalog sales are really great for future campaigns when you're really looking for sales. And then we have store visits. And so store visits really help direct traffic to your location, and really it helps deliver ads based on your user's current location. Okay, so if we really want to get somebody to the store, if you have a brick and mortar store, for example, then you can use store visits as your objective under conversions to really drive traffic to that location. So that's what store visits are. We really want people to, take that next step, get to your store and check out your store and purchase. So that's what store visits are under the conversions objective. So within each of these advertisement objectives, we can create split test, also known as A/B testing. And the reason why we call it A/B testing, because what you're doing is you're testing one variable from the other. So really you have two advertisements that really are the same, except the only difference is there's one thing that's altered from the other. So in this example, we have A with one promotion, and then we have B, which is the same audience, same everything, except a different promotion. So you're really changing one variable when you do a split test. And so that's available to Facebook, just like any other type of advertising. Let's say you do, search advertising on Google. Split testing is available. Let's say you do email marketing. Split testing is available with subject lines. Facebook's no different. It allows split testing, or allows you to use two versions of the same ad and able to change one of those parameters. So you can see really what ads performs best. That's the whole idea behind a split test. Okay, so if it's the original sale of 25% off, then hey, so be it. You know it works because you tested it against another variation. And then the great thing about testing, it never ends. So if 25% off works over, say, $2,000 off, then you try something else to see if that will increase sales. That's the whole idea behind testing, is you always want to see what works. Okay, so really what it comes down to is it can be a promotional offer, or it could be something as simple as changing the call to action. A different color on the call to action. It could be anything you want to test, as long as you're able to, figure out what works and then apply what works, so you can continue to improve your advertising. That's really the whole idea behind A/B testing. Okay, so it really is identifying an element you want to test. And then really once you identify that element, and you test it and you know what wins, then you can move on to other things to figure out what else works. So if you tested the promotion, then go on to the CTA. So you could test things like colors and call to actions and imaging and messaging and positioning. And you could play around with your target audience and test a segment of a target audience against another. So there's lots of things you could test when you A/B test. The most important thing to note, though, when you A/B test, is you always want to keep in mind what metric you want to measure the test up against. So some of the metrics you could use are click-through rate, which is CTR, cost per click, CPC. You can use conversion rate, also known as CR, or just clicks. The whole idea is when you do a test and you're testing a promotional offer, or you're testing even the call to action, you need to measure that up against a metric. So that metric is what's going to determine the winner. And so it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It can be as simple as testing, one call to action against another and determining which one gets more clicks. And if one gets more clicks than the other, then hey, you have a winner. Okay, let's go through the steps of creating a new campaign on Facebook using Facebook's Ads Manager. So you're going to log into facebook.com/ads manager, and you're just going to click on the Create New Campaign button. And when you do that, you're going to see a screen that looks just like this. And you're going to go through a series of steps. So as we presented earlier, the first step is always choosing your objective. So we have awareness, consideration, and conversion. So recall that awareness was getting your brand out there to people who never seen your brand or product or service before. So it's a matter of trying to reach as many people as you can to get your brand out there. And so you have brand awareness, or you have reach. Remember, one is controlled, one is uncontrolled. Okay? So reach is a little bit more controlled because you could set your budget. Okay, and you can control your budget a little bit better. So brand awareness is just getting it out there, having Facebook plop it in front of the ad in front of as many people as possible. With reach, you are trying to maximize how many people you show your ad to, but it is a little bit more controlled against the budget. Okay, either way, choosing awareness is going to set the objective of trying to maximize your exposure for your brand, your product, or your service. Okay, if somebody has already seen your brand, or somebody's already familiar with your product or your services, then you may want to choose the objective of consideration. And so these are people who, again, are already familiar, who you want to take that next step. Remember, Facebook is an environment where you're targeting a specific audience. So you're targeting people you know have likely seen your brand, product, or service. So you want them to take that next step. That's what you want them to do. Okay, so here, under consideration, we have traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead gen, or messages. All of these choices are getting somebody to do something for you. For example, app installs. You want them to install your app. Or engagement, you want them to like or share your post. Video views, watching your video or messaging. You want them to interact with you via Facebook's Messenger feature. So all of these are interactions of some sort where somebody's taking that next step. They've seen your brand, they're interested, but they're not quite ready to purchase yet. Okay, so that's what consideration is. Then you have conversion. This is people in the funnel who you know or think you know want to convert. And when I say think you know, meaning, you're really targeting people who you've targeted before, who maybe has purchased from you before, or is exactly the type of audience you're looking to purchase. Okay, so you have conversions, you have catalog sales, and you have store traffic, meaning driving foot traffic to a store. Okay? So these are people further down the funnel who you don't necessarily want to take a smaller action like just share your Facebook post or provide their email address and name. Okay, so you want them to purchase. So these are the 3 marketing objectives you're going to choose from. Okay, so we're just going to choose conversions for the sake of this example. And then when we go to choose conversions, remember we can create a A/B split test. Okay, so that's a choice you should always choose because you always want to be testing something. Okay, in this case, we might want to test the ad. We might want to test, say, the call to action because we're looking for conversions. So it could be as simple as having one ad with a buy more and the other ad that says, hey, check out our website. So you have that option to A/B split test, and then you have budget optimization, which basically allows you to set your budget evenly across your different ads. Okay. And so what Facebook's going to do is basically make sure that the best performing ad is going to be seen more often. So that's budget optimization. You're maximizing your budget towards an ad or ads that you want to be able to have more control over in terms of what's working and what's not working versus not selecting this option. Your ads are just going to randomly show and there's not going to be any necessary control over how much spend each ad gets. So that's the first step in creating your campaign. It's always choosing your objective with a few options built in. So the next step in the process is ad set. Okay, and as you can see here, before you even get to ad set, what Facebook is prompting us to do is look at basically how the A/B test is going to work. So here they're explaining how an A/B split test works. Okay, so basically what an A/B split test does is serve up 50-50, the original versus a variation of the original. Okay, so that's more or less how an A/B split test works. And so Facebook is doing us some good by showing us this messaging. Okay, because that's what we chose. Now, notice we chose conversion as our objective. Okay, so what we're going to be required to do is put a conversion pixel on our website so that Facebook can actually track conversions. And so what we want people to do is purchase. And so what we need to do then is add a Facebook pixel to our website so that Facebook can actually track how many people purchase from your campaign. So this is very important. And so if you're driving traffic to your website and you want them to convert, then you need to make sure all the tracking's in place. So the next step in setting up your ads is setting up an offer. So if you have an offer that you want to provide, go ahead and select on because the default is set to off. Okay. What you could do is you can associate it with your particular company page on Facebook, and then you're going to create your offer. So I'm going to put my offer title. I'm going to put a little bit more details in there. I can put an end date when the offer expires and a specific time. So based on what you put, this is what people is going to see with the ad. And here you have the redemption section where you can have people redeem the offer online or online and in store. So if it's online, you need to provide Facebook with a URL where people can go and redeem that promotion, that offer. And then you have a chance, an opportunity to add a particular code. So you don't necessarily have to have a code with your offer. It could be a one-time code, or it can be a unique code, okay, or unique codes, okay? And then you have an advanced option here. And this advanced option is pretty important because if you're setting up an offer and you only want a specific number of people to see that offer, then and you don't want them to share that offer, then what you could do is hide the share option. So that way people won't be able to share the promotion with friends or family or whatnot. Now they could still copy and paste a link of the offer, but they won't be able to easily do it with the share option. And here you can put some terms and conditions. Okay. So that's the offer, okay? And it's pretty intuitive in the wizard. My recommendation is you should always put out an offer to get people to, again, your objective is to get people to convert. So an offer always helps incentivize conversions. Okay, here we have our variable because we're testing, we're split testing, okay? So here we're choosing what we want to split test. So if we choose creative, basically what we're doing is we're telling Facebook we want to test our creative, our ad. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to select the audience. And so we could choose a custom audience, a lookalike, or all. So here you can see we have a lookalike, and a lookalike basically what Facebook does is they're trying to find people who are very similar to your customers. Okay, so that's who you want to target. People who look like your customers on Facebook. Okay. So you could choose a lookalike audience, or you could choose a custom audience if you already have one. So we're going to create a new custom audience here. And basically what we want them to do is website traffic. And we're just going to call it website traffic. And basically it's going to be all website visitors. Okay, so we're going to create this audience here. So we've done that. And basically now what we're trying to do is we're trying to tell Facebook, okay, if our audience is all website visitors, where are those visitors going to come from? So we want to choose a location. So it could be everyone in a particular location, everyone who lives in a particular location, or recently in the location, or traveling in a location. Okay, so here you can see we have it set to United States, but we can always change that. So you can really pick and choose areas or cities and even exclude areas. You can even upload locations in bulk. So if you have a specific set of locations, you can upload that. After you choose your location, you're then going to choose your age. So here you have, if you look all the way down to 13 years of age, and then your range goes all the way up to 65 years of age. Then we have our gender. We can choose both men and women, or just men and just women. And then we can target a specific language. If we want to target Spanish people or people who speak Spanish, then we can choose Spanish. Notice we can add multiple languages. Okay, so if we want to do some specific targeting, for example, we can do interest or specific behavior. So if I click suggestions, then for example, Facebook's going to offer us up some suggestions. So if we want to target people who have an interest in foreign language, or charity and causes, or mindfulness, or it could be specific job titles. Okay, so we can get really detailed with our targeting. We also have connections. So who do we want to target? So are these people who like our page, who are friends of people who like our page? We can also exclude people who like our page. Okay, so remember, your advertising is tied to a Facebook page. However, you could still drive that traffic to your website. But what Facebook does is once you connect your ad or your campaign to a Facebook page, then they have an idea of the profile, then they have an idea of what type of community you have on Facebook. Okay, so that really helps them offer you more detailed targeting in the form of connections. Okay, so when we're done, we could save the audience. So I'm just going to name it English and Spanish. Click save. Okay, now I have my audience saved. And the important thing here is that this audience is saved. We can use it at a later date, or if we're setting up a new campaign, we can pull from the same audience under use a saved audience. So if I just type in English and Spanish, you'll see my audience here. Okay, and we can always edit it if we need to. Okay, so next is the placements section. So here, placements is where we want to show our ads. Okay, so we want to be able to place our ads in the proper placement. And so what Facebook does is they actually recommend you do an auto placement. And so Facebook will, based on your audience, show your ad in different spots or different placements throughout Facebook based on the people you're trying to target, the audience. Okay, so in this case, we're targeting both Spanish and English, okay? And we're targeting 13 to 65-year-olds who live in the United States. And so what Facebook's going to do then, because we have automatic placement set up, is they're going to be able to place our ads based on our target audience. So this is an option I always recommend you do, and Facebook recommends as well. If you're specific about where you want your ad to be placed, then you can just select edit placements. And notice when you select edit placements here, you have different options. Not only on Facebook, but on Instagram as well, okay? And Facebook's network, and in Facebook Messenger. So you have all these different options available to you if you really want your ad placed in a specific position. So here, if I just scroll over here, I can see what it looks like in a feed, in-stream video. I can scroll down to Instagram. That's what it looks like in a feed on Instagram. Okay, you have Instagram stories. If I want to go and advertise on Facebook Messenger, then I have some options here in Messenger inbox or sponsored messages. Okay, so you have a lot of options available under edit placements, meaning picking your placement specifically. But again, I recommend, as does Facebook, just go with the recommended placements for now. Unless you're really clear and you really understand how Facebook works and where these placements are actually going to be. But remember, if you choose edit placements and place it in a specific position, let's just say on Messenger inbox, remember your audience may not be there. So going with the automatic placements, is a way for Facebook to help you get your ad in front of the right audience. Here, the next section, delivery optimization. Okay, how much of our ads are optimized and delivered? So remember, we chose conversions here, so we're going to optimize our ads for conversions. So what Facebook's going to do is take into account each conversion that each ad is getting. And they're going to show that ad that's getting more conversions more often than the ads that aren't getting as many conversions. Okay, so they're optimizing the ad delivery based on how many conversions each ad gets. And there's an option in here as well. So you can put a cost control in place. So you have an average cost per purchase. Okay, so Facebook will aim to get the most purchases and spend your entire budget. Okay, if you put in an average cost per purchase. So for example, if I'm selling t-shirts, I may not want my average cost per purchase to be $20 because I'm not going to make any money. So I'm probably going to choose maybe $2, $3, $4, even as high as $5 on a cost per purchase, because I want to make sure I'm not spending a lot of money just to get a purchase. So you have that option available to you to put in as a cost control. And here we have a conversion window. And so what this conversion window is going to do is, help Facebook optimize your ads a little bit better based on the number of conversions that happen in this window. Okay, so you have some other options in here. You want to do standard delivery, ad scheduling. You can run your ads on a schedule, or you can run them all the time. Okay, And then moving down to the next option in our ad set is we have split test budget and schedule. So we have the opportunity to put a budget in place for our ads, okay? And we can schedule the A/B test to start running immediately if we want to, or we can have the A/B test run at a specific date, and we can have it run for a specific period of time. So this goes all the way back to the first option where we chose A/B split test on step 1. So we have a series of options available to us for the split test. Okay, once we have all our options in place, okay, we're going to click continue. And then the final step is actually setting up our ads. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to name our ad, in this case ad A. Okay, it's going to be tied to a Facebook page. It's going to be tied to an Instagram account. And then we could choose the format of our ad. So remember, we have a lot of different options available to us on Facebook. We have the carousel, which allows us to have multiple images scrolling horizontally. We can have that single image ad. We can have a video. We can have a collection of images. So we have a lot of options available to us. And then what we could do is we can link up our ad to a specific page. Okay. Now, before we do that, we want to be able to upload our images. Okay. So we're going to manually choose images, videos, and links. Okay. And then we're going to add some text to support that image. Okay. And so when we add text in for our ad, we have the option of setting up a headline. Actually, it's not an option, it's actually mandatory. The description is actually optional. Okay. But my recommendation is you want to add a headline that's going to grab attention, and you want to add a description to support that headline. So I always recommend putting in a description. And then once you do that, you're going to add your destination URL, and then you're going to be able to preview your ad. Okay, so if we have an image here, okay, we can just say, hey, come check out our new product. And so as I add this information, I'll be able to view it on the right side. Okay, so it looks like Facebook at this point is not able to view the image, but normally you're able to see a preview. In this case, it's on the mobile news feed. So if we drop down, we can see desktop right column. Okay, so we need to really choose our images. So we're going to change an image here. Let's see if I can choose another image. Okay, I'm going to choose an image here. And so now I can see the image. Now I could see the headline. And then I can see what it looks like just by changing the placement. Okay, so if I want to choose Facebook stories, whoops, that's not available. If I go to, for example, instant articles, okay, here I can see what my ad looks like on instant articles. So it wasn't available on certain placements because of the type of ad we chose. But the point being, when you set up your ad, you choose your image and you write your headline and put your destination URL in, then you'll be able to preview it on certain placements, depending on what type of ad you chose. Okay, once you're set up, and remember, we're setting up A/B testing. So that was ad 1. Now we want to test the second ad or the variation. And so basically what we want to do is choose the same type of format. Then what we want to do is pick a variation. What is that variation going to be? It could be maybe just a different headline, okay? Or it could be a different URL. You need to decide what it is you're going to test, okay? Once you decide what you test, you're going to add that to variation B. Once you add that to variation B, then you have both ads set up. Once you confirm, Facebook is going to confirm for you whether the ads meet their criteria. Okay, and if it doesn't, in this case, you could see we have some errors. Then we need to go back and fix them. So I'm going to go back and choose single image ad. Okay, so now I could just choose my one image. So I can browse a library of images I already have. Now here's my single image ad. I'm going to add some text in there, a website URL, a headline, Remember, you want it to be catchy. Okay, you can change the call to action here. Okay, you can add multiple languages. So you have a lot of options depending on the type of format you choose. So remember, we chose A/B test. So we're going to set up both ads, ad A and ad B. Okay, and when we do that, again, we can have Facebook review it. Once they review it, they can confirm. You can see we still have some errors on ad A, so let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to choose single image because that's what ad B is. I'm going to browse my library. Maybe I'll just test a different image. I'm going to click continue. And so basically keep everything the same. What I'll test is maybe the image. So you have to go into an A/B test knowing what it is you want to test ahead of time. Okay, once you do that, you're going to go ahead and continue to add B. And then once you do that, here, let's go ahead and fix this error here. The link field. So let's just go ahead and put a link in there. Continue to add B. Once I confirm, then I have 2 ads ready to go on specific placements, or excuse me, automatic placements in this option. That's the option we chose. And basically, the ads are set to optimization against conversions. We have a set budget, and we're going to be able to then, once our ads go live, is look at some reports to see how they're performing. So that's the steps in setting up a campaign on Facebook. You're choosing your objective, okay? Then you're setting up your ad set, okay? And then once you set up your ad set with your target audience, then you're actually going through the motions. In this case, we set up 2 ads because we chose A/B testing, okay? And if you didn't choose A/B testing, then you would just choose to set up the first ad. And once you do that, you confirm, and voila, your campaign is set up based on these 3 steps. Okay, so let's review with some do's and don'ts of Facebook. So we mentioned the types of ad that Facebook has. We mentioned how to set up a Facebook ad itself and choosing the right objectives. And so some of the do's involved are just what I mentioned. We always want to do A/B testing on our ads. Whether that's, again, just changing out the color or changing out an image, you always want to do A/B testing. Because Facebook has, carousel ads, and because they have, ads that can rotate, and you can use even video with your ads, you always want to take advantage of what's given to you. And so Facebook allows you to do it. So if you have the opportunity to have a video ad, then use the video ad. Highly recommend it. Remember, video ads have higher engagement. So definite do is use engaging videos and imagery. So you don't necessarily have to use a static ad or image ad. You can use the carousel, for example, or the presentation mode, where you could show multiple images to really showcase your product and service. So with all the advertising that you do, you always want to align your messaging. So use a message that will stay with the audience. Okay, so use something that's going to be able to trigger. Remember, it depends on the funnel and where you're at. So if you're awareness or consideration or conversion, that has to align with your messaging. So if you're, targeting ads, and you want people to convert, then your message is going to be as such. You're going to talk to people as if you want them to convert, as if they're ready to convert. And you want to keep your message consistent and simple. So remember, the ads are available to you, and you have so many different features available to you within those ads, but that doesn't mean you got to convolute it with messaging. So keep your message consistent and simple. If it's brand awareness, definitely keep your message simple so that people can understand exactly what it is your product or service is all about. Then you want to alter your reach so that the ads are shown to the appropriate audience. Okay, so you always want to keep in mind who you're trying to target. Okay, so you don't want to target somebody who's not in your demographic. So alter your reach so that the ads are shown to the appropriate audience. Remember, you have, reach available to you, and reach allows you to really pick and choose exactly who you're targeting to and how often. Remember, you want to reach as many people as possible, but you don't want to reach the wrong people. Okay, some of the don'ts some things you want to stay away from is you don't want to put all your money on one campaign. So you want to separate out your budget, allocate your budget across different campaigns. And I would even take that a step further and, put different types of ads in different campaigns just to see what works. So again, it depends on where you're at in the funnel. If it's just brand awareness, okay, maybe create a campaign for that. If it's consideration, create a campaign for that, because in consideration, you might have lead ads in there. Say with the awareness campaign, you may just have a single image ad, okay, just to introduce your product to somebody with a simple message. So you want to, definitely think about how you want to separate out your campaigns, but don't be afraid to separate your campaigns by the type of ads. Don't put too much information in the ads. Remember, keep it consistent and keep it simple. That's the best thing I can say. And remember, a lot of these ads are image based. So images tell 1,000 words. They tell 1,000 stories. A video will do the job if you have to say too much. So if you're saying too much, think about a video. But if you're using an image, let the image tell the story. Okay, don't forget to proofread your ads. I can't stress that enough. Remember, if you're an awareness campaign, this is the first time somebody's seen your product or service. So you definitely want to get the messaging not only correct, meaning consistent and simple, but grammatically correct. You don't want to be so active on your Facebook page. So, when I say don't be so active on your Facebook page, really, it depends on where you're at. You're trying to introduce a product or service. So that doesn't mean that you need to go out and tell everybody to start buying your product. Remember, these people may not even know who you are, what product and service you offer. So you want to be able to approach your audience on your Facebook page in a manner which is suitable for your audience. And then have an image that doesn't correspond to the product being advertised. So you want to be able to have an image that does correspond. So if you're targeting a specific audience with a specific product, then make sure the image on your Facebook page aligns with that. Okay, don't be inconsistent. Don't confuse the audience. Be consistent with your imagery as well as your messaging. Okay, so those are some of the don'ts, things you want to stay away from when you're advertising.
One of the biggest challenges Facebook faces is to keep people and businesses happy with continuously driving change in its functionality. Recently, new challenges have been added in this light of privacy of user data and fake news. The engine of Facebook's platform to drive all these changes is the Facebook algorithm. Understanding Facebook without understanding the Facebook algorithm will limit you in efforts to use Facebook successfully. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to discuss the recent newsfeed changes, to explain the concept of organic reach in Facebook, explain the new Facebook algorithm and its main components, identify the 3 active interactions in the Facebook algorithm, and discuss the future of the Facebook newsfeed. The Facebook algorithm is Facebook's secret sauce in which is decided which post to show in your newsfeed, whether it's your friend's post or a post from a business. Facebook has recently announced a cleanup of the newsfeed, which particularly affects how businesses should use Facebook. It is now commonly understood by businesses that to use Facebook successfully, they have to pay to play. In this lesson, you will learn about these Facebook changes in the algorithm and what you can do to improve your organic reach. And we will close the lesson with looking at the future of the newsfeed. The Facebook newsfeed and organic reach. The Facebook newsfeed is the core of the Facebook platform. It was launched as far back as 2006 and it has seen many iterations since. Initially, the newsfeed was the place to see posts from your Facebook friends. It was the Facebook way to stay up to date. And the Facebook algorithm decides which posts show up in what order. On top of the feed you see the What's on Your Mind, in which you can do your own status updates. And it allows you to add photos, videos, tag people, check in, and so on. Facebook continuously adds new features that you can add to your updates.
Newsfeed is the place where you can see the activities of your friends and the pages that you follow. You can access the newsfeed on the mobile app or on your desktop. I'm going to show here how to access your newsfeed on the desktop. By clicking here on the home button, you get access to your newsfeed, and in the newsfeed you can see all the posts. On the top of the newsfeed you have your create post section. We'll come back to that later. And then immediately below that you can see the posts of the various companies that you follow or the people that are your friends. And obviously the Facebook algorithm, and that's what we're talking about in this module, will decide which posts it will show based on your activities of your friends, how engaging are their posts, and how many comments are they getting on their posts. And that is a whole sort of calculation that Facebook does to make sure it shows the most engaging post in your newsfeed. You can see how many likes they get, how many comments. So you see this is a very engaging post. And here you can like, comment, share the post yourself. If I click on the company name, for instance, here, then I would go to the company page. And then on the company page, I can see all the posts that company has done, and not necessarily all those posts have made it to your newsfeed.
Companies can use Facebook by setting up a Facebook page and get people to like the page and become a fan. Posts done by the company would then show up in the newsfeed of their fans. In the early days of the Facebook pages, this was like the gold rush of the 18th century in America. Companies like Coca-Cola got tens of millions of fans and had a tremendous exposure on Facebook, and all for free. But when Facebook started to monetize their business through advertising, they needed to find a way to push businesses in using Facebook advertising. The way they did this was to slowly erode the organic reach in Facebook. Let's look at this organic reach in a bit more detail. On this slide you see how organic reach has dropped over the years and how the Facebook share price has increased. They are clearly related. The share price has gone up because a continuous drop in organic reach forced businesses to use Facebook advertising to reach their audiences. And this strategy clearly works. What started as small-scale advertising opportunities for businesses on the side of the newsfeed, then in the newsfeed, and then on the mobile, next businesses could advertise in videos. And with the acquisition of Instagram and the launch of the new Facebook Messenger, new advertising opportunities emerged for businesses. But this drive towards growing advertising revenues came at a price. Where the newsfeed once was the place where friends posted updates on what they were doing, it became a garbage bin of business posts, ads, trivial videos, fake news, quotes, and other irrelevant stuff, practically impossible for the algorithm to manage. You may have noticed this yourself when you checked your newsfeed over the years. It used to be a place where your friends shared what they were doing, and it became a place where you could find stuff that the Facebook algorithm believed you liked. Facebook knew it had to do something about this. The growth in new users was slowing down. There was an increase in fake accounts, fake ads, and fake news. And on top of that, there were many issues on data privacy that got reinforced because of the introduction of the GDPR. So it was time for a change. The Facebook algorithm today. January 13th, 2018 goes into the Facebook history as a significant day. So much so that Facebook lost nearly $119 billion market value in one day. It was the day that Facebook announced to clean up the newsfeed. Zuckerberg said in a statement that they got feedback from their community that public content like posts from businesses, brands and media are crowding out the personal moments that lead people to connect with each other. Zuckerberg continues that it's easy to understand how we got there. Video and other public content have exploded on Facebook in the last few years. But what he doesn't say is that Facebook is a big culprit itself in polluting the newsfeed by pushing more and more businesses into advertising and by offering more and more places on Facebook, Instagram and Messenger to advertise. And all this pollution of the Facebook newsfeed is driving Facebook away from the most important thing it does: helping people to connect with each other. To cut a long story short, Facebook has dropped organic reach to less than 3%. And businesses now understand that they have to pay to play, or in other words, use Facebook advertising to reach their audience. So, where in the early years of the Facebook page you could build your audience and your brand organically on Facebook, and then use Facebook ads to give your reach a boost, nowadays you have to pay to play. But don't let this scare you, it doesn't have to be expensive. And Facebook has created an amazing advertising platform that can help you achieve your business goals. And don't worry, there are still ways that you can beat the Facebook algorithm and improve your organic reach. In the next few slides and lessons we will explain you how to do this. So let's look at today's Facebook algorithm in a bit more detail. The Facebook algorithm has to make sure that it selects the most relevant posts for you from the thousands of potential posts that may be displayed in your newsfeed. It analyzes the posts and arranges them in a way that you would like to see them. Its aim is to give you a better overall experience. It does this by looking at 4 different elements. It looks at all the available posts, it analyzes these posts on various factors called signals, and it predicts how you would react to the posts. It then summarizes all this with a score. And the posts with the highest score will feature higher in your newsfeed. Let me explain the signals to you on the next slide. These are the signals Facebook looked at before the cleanup announcement. Time spent on the content, overall engagement, when it was posted, story type, how informative is the post. But with the cleanup, Facebook fine-tuned the algorithm. And here is what it's looking for now. The Facebook algorithm will now put extra focus on the engagement on a post and the usage of other Facebook tools like Facebook Live or Facebook Messenger. Which means business posts that do not drive engagement, like commenting and sharing, will not show up in the newsfeed. Posts with short videos, quotes, quizzes, polls and links to other websites are now being demoted. So what can you as a business do about this? That's not an easy question, and many businesses are still searching for the answer to this. But let me give you a few tips. Let's look at today's top ranking factors in Facebook. Top ranking factors in the Facebook algorithm. For the cleanup of the newsfeed, businesses use their posts to get people to click. We call this link bait, to watch a video or view an image by hovering over it. These were all passive actions. Nothing to do with engagement. In the new algorithm, Facebook now looks at 3 interactions: commenting, sharing and reacting. Commenting is at the core of the updated Facebook algorithm. Posts that will lead to high volume of comments will show high in the newsfeed. These are the posts to generate conversations between people. Comment baiting is definitely a no-no in Facebook these days. Facebook will demote posts that use engagement bait like comment, vote, react or share. The algorithm will also reward posts that are being shared. Facebook likes posts that are shared within Messenger and also business posts that have engagement when shared by friends. But sharing alone is not enough. Facebook will favor those posts that are shared and lead to conversations between people. Facebook also likes it when you use reactions. Although not as powerful as comments and shares, but it remains a form of active engagement. Facebook will promote your business posts to more people when people use the reactions buttons on your posts. So here are the new tactics that will help you increase your organic reach of your business posts. Call for quality instead of quantity. Post once a day instead of 5 times a day. Understand and analyze your fans. Check when they are online and post accordingly. Think about your content. Create specifically for Facebook and use video and Facebook Live. Facebook Live is a key tool that will help you improve your organic reach. There is also a little secret in Facebook called See First when somebody likes your page. It is set at default when they like your page, which means all your business posts will go through the Facebook algorithm. But when you set it as See First, your post will guaranteed show up at the top of the newsfeed of your fan. Analyze your posts and see which posts have lots of engagement. Recycle these posts or boost them with advertising. Learn from other Facebook pages. Experiment with your content and certainly make sure that you will reply on every comment you are getting. Another way of driving your organic reach is to start using Facebook groups. Facebook has revamped the group functionality recently and are promoting groups to be used by businesses as well. And this brings us back to the basics of marketing. By implementing these new algorithm changes, Facebook now forces businesses to understand their customer, to understand their target audiences. To understand their challenges, their motivations, what they like to interact with, what they care about. Because only then will you be able to create content that sparks emotion. Because emotions will generate comments, likes and shares. The future of the Facebook newsfeed. So what will happen with the newsfeed when we look into the future? The newsfeed has been around for more than 10 years now and the concept has become a bit outdated. Obviously, it won't disappear straight away, but there are many new features emerging that will drive new types of engagement. If we look at stories, messaging, Facebook Live and community features like Marketplace, dating, these are areas where you don't need a newsfeed and where you naturally find more engagement. Instagram is a good example of this. It's a fact that today's Instagram users spend more time in looking at people's stories than spending time on the Instagram newsfeed. But for now, make sure you understand the newsfeed and you understand the Facebook algorithm, because that will put you in an excellent position to take advantage of everything that Facebook has to offer. Here are the highlights of this lesson. Recently, Facebook announced that it would update the Facebook algorithm to only show posts in the newsfeed to lead to genuine conversations between people. As a result, organic reach for business posts on Facebook has dropped to the lowest position ever. Most businesses now understand that to reach their audience on Facebook, they have to pay to play, which means using Facebook ads. Fortunately, there are still ways to beat the new Facebook algorithm. Using Facebook Live is one of them. With the increase in commerce on the internet, it is obvious that e-commerce is also moving into Facebook. In fact, for years, social commerce has been an important word in Mark Zuckerberg's vocabulary. Enabling people to open a shopfront in Facebook and then linking it to their existing online shop. But the next step is to let all this commerce take place in Facebook. And of course, on the mobile. On top of that, Facebook now features many different ad types that shops can use to promote their products, linking back to the online store. Now watch this space, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to set up a Facebook shop, connect your Facebook shop with e-commerce sites like Shopify, create a Facebook catalog, use Facebook dynamic ads to promote specific products, and promote your Facebook shop. Facebook has many options for e-commerce. You can set up a shop on your Facebook page and tailor it to your own products. These products can be presented on your page and you can advertise for them as well. And you can also add a catalog to your shop, which gives you the opportunity to promote and target your product advertising more specifically. Setting up your Facebook shop. Facebook allows you to set up shop on your Facebook page. By doing this, you can promote your products on Facebook and offer prices for your product. You can also add a Shop Now button. Once people click on the products, it will take them to their website where they can place the order they want to buy directly into the shopping trolley. Setting up a Facebook shop has many advantages. You don't need an existing catalog, so you can add an unlimited number of products you want to feature in your shop. Like any shopping catalog, Facebook allows you to organize your products in collections so people can easily find the products they are looking for. And by activating the messaging button, people can ask questions or even place an order.
To create your Facebook shop, you have to add a shop tab here on the left side menu. Now the way to do that is to go to the settings, and then in the settings you click on the templates and tabs, and then here you see you currently haven't got the shop as a tab, so you click add tab, and that's where you have shop. So you simply click add tab, and that means your shop has been added, and then you can drag the shop to a higher level in the tab menu. And then you can go to the settings of the shop, where you can switch it on and off, and where you can also copy the URL of the shop. But the main settings of the shop are also within the tab when you are on your page. So now that we've installed the tab for shop, you now see on your home page of your Facebook page, you here see as the third item the shop. Click on the shop, and the first thing obviously you need to do is to agree to the terms and conditions for your shop. You click continue, and then you're basically going to set up all the details in your shop. Now, the first question you need to answer yourself is, how do you want people to buy the products from your shop? They can either send you a message to buy, you can activate that, or you can drive them to your website. For instance, where you have your online shop, you can just get them to the link of that particular page. So for this demo's sake, let's click message to buy, and we'll click on continue. You select the currency, and then you click save, and you're getting to the next screen of your shop setup, where you're going to add products, and you can also add the description of what you sell. So when I click here on describe what Simply Business sells, I have 200 characters to describe what my business does. So I can just add, for instance, for the demo's sake, social media, training, products and services. And I click save changes. And then I'm going to add products. So if I click on add product, you're going to add visuals for your product. You can add a video of your product. You can add name, the price, whether the product is on sale, a description of the product, whether you want to share this product on your Facebook page. You can give inventory information, different options about your product like sizes and colors, and how you want it to show up on your page, and who do you want to be able to see the product. So let's add some products. So here we're going to go to the photos that we're dragging from the desktop. So let's say that is product 1, and we're going to use that. This is social media book, and the price is £10, and the description, how to attract, date and love your customers on social media. This going to leave these as standard options, and I click save, and now I have my first product added. And I can add more products. Here you see how the product features in the product list. I can add my next product and add a photo, select the files. Here I'm going to product number 2, and this is social media training, and we'll say that is £50. Description, introduction to social media, keeping those settings standard. That's product 2. And then I'm going to add product 3. Product 3 is, let's say, a LinkedIn training. And I'm going to say, again, LinkedIn training. The price is £50. I'm clicking save. And then the fourth product that I will be adding is product 4, and that would be the Facebook training. And that would be, let's say, £50 as well. Introduction to Facebook. And I'm clicking save. Yeah, if I now do a refresh of the page, you will see that all the products show up. Now there is another area where you can actually put products in different collections. So for instance, if I want to do the Facebook training and the LinkedIn training in a collection, I can then click here, add collection. Yeah, so these are the products that are currently in the catalog, but if I'm going to add a collection, I'm going to say training products. Yep, and then I can add the products to the collection. The one I wanted was Facebook training and LinkedIn training. I've now added 2 products to this collection, and I can then click save. And if I now go back to my shop, so let's go to the page, and I'll go to the shop. You now see that I have 2 collections that I can sort of scan and browse through, and I have my different products. So I can now start promoting my shop through Facebook advertising or by sharing particular products from my shop on my timeline.
Here you see an example of a Facebook shop. You can see the desktop and the mobile version of it. On the desktop you can see the shop tab on the left. You can decide what position the shop takes in the tab listing. You can do this in the settings. And you can see the products by category, and also you see the Shop Now button and the send message. On the mobile you can show the product specs, a photo, the price, the details and the link to the website. In the shop setup you can manage all aspects of running your Facebook shop. You can add products, you can add collections, you can get an overview of the orders and the pending orders. The Facebook shop also allows you to tag products. You can tag up to 30 products and links in your shop. You tag these in your page posts. When people see your product tags in your posts, they can then click on the tag to shop for the tagged product. Finally, it is important to connect your Facebook page with a payment engine. You can set up your payment within your Facebook page, so people can buy your products directly on your page. But this only works in the US. For those shops outside the US, you need to integrate your Facebook shop with e-commerce platforms like Shopify. Fortunately, many online store builders who have e-commerce engines can integrate your existing products on their store with your Facebook page. This means that you can connect your existing online shop with Facebook, and your existing products will automatically be uploaded in your new Facebook shop. Creating your Facebook catalog. To expand the capabilities of your Facebook shop, you should use or set up a Facebook catalog. Consider this catalog as a folder with all the products you want to promote and advertise. Once you've set up your Facebook catalog, you can target people with specific product ads based on their browsing behavior in your shop. For example, when somebody clicked on a specific product in your shop, you can target them with an ad for that product the next time they are on Facebook.
Now that your shop is ready, you can target people who visit your shop or your online shop on your website through setting up a Facebook catalog. Now, in order to set up a Facebook catalog, you have to be in the Ads Manager. And when you click here on the Ads Manager, you go down under Assets, and that's where you see catalogs. Because we've created a catalog when we set up our shop, it will automatically show up here in your list of catalogs. And when you click on the catalog, you get to the screen where you can select different type of ads that you want to run for the particular products. You can see what products do we have in our catalog, what product sets do we have in our catalog, and what are the data sources for the catalog that we're using. And there is the settings for your catalog as well, like what's the name of your catalog, what notification settings, etc. So back to the diagnostics area of your catalog. This is where you are going to decide what type of ad you're going to use for your catalog. So you can have generic ads or you can have dynamic ads. Generic ads is basically where you can feature an ad for a specific product in your catalog, or when you do a dynamic ad, you can actually retarget people who see specific products on your website, and they can then receive an ad with that particular product that they saw on your website, but then on their Facebook, just as a little reminder that may push them to buy the product. So if I click on the ad to drive traffic, it will ask you which accounts do you want to use. And then it takes you to the ad manager, where you go through the standard process of your campaign settings, your ad account settings, your ad set, and the creation of the ad itself. Now, I'm not going to show you all the details of how to create an ad. We've done that in other demos, but a very important section that you have here is that you can create an instant experience, which is a much more multimedia type ad that you can select within your catalog. For instance, you can select which products do we want to select for the ad, how do you want to order the products, like dynamically, or you can even specify an order. Are there specific sort of collections that you want to use for this ad? Where do you want to use a cover video or a cover image? And then what is the call to action button that you want on your ad? And once you're done with that, you're going back into the ad set creation, where you are looking into the traffic for the ad and the audience segmentation, and then you follow the process of developing your ad.
Using Facebook Dynamic Ads. Here are a few more details about the Facebook Dynamic Ads. They promote products from your catalog to people who are more likely to respond to them because they have seen that particular product before in your shop or in your app, or they have shown an interest in the category. For instance, if people are browsing hotels on your website but don't make a reservation, you can then target them with specific product ads from your catalog based on their travel preferences. Finally, it is important that you promote your Facebook shop. There are many ways you can do that. You can promote your products by making them stand out through videos and really good photography. And another effective way of promoting your shop is by enabling ratings and reviews. Often people look at customer reviews before making a buying decision. And if you have a physical store, it will also help if you add all your shop details, like the address and the opening times. And it goes without saying that when people message you with questions or even an order, make sure you respond instantly. So what did we learn in this lesson? Setting up a Facebook shop will enable you to list and promote products you sell. You can even connect your shop with e-commerce sites like Shopify. You can set up a Facebook catalog that holds all the items you want to promote across all of Facebook's social media platforms. And Facebook Dynamic Ads automatically promote products to people who have expressed interest on your website or in your app. 3 simple elements for promoting your shop: respond quickly to messages from customers, encourage people to leave reviews, and add the address of your physical store. Facebook Live, setup and how to use for business. The final Facebook tool that businesses can use is Facebook Live, which basically allows you to live stream video to your Facebook audience. Live streaming started on Twitter a few years ago through Periscope. It soon moved to YouTube and Facebook and is now a really exciting communication tool to connect instantly with your audience. Live streaming has caught the media world by surprise. I can now be at a live concert and stream it live to my Facebook friends. Where do media rights fit into this? The industry is still trying to come up with answers. Fact is that Facebook Live allows you to start your own live TV program and broadcast it instantly to a global Facebook audience. And on top of this, Facebook loves you to use Facebook Live and will reward you for using it by giving your Facebook Live post a higher organic reach. Facebook Live has lots of opportunities for businesses. It gives natural engagement by people liking and commenting during the live broadcast. And Facebook gives you lots of opportunities to promote the live event before and after the live broadcast. At the end of the broadcast, Facebook will ask you if you want to save the broadcast and post it on your feed. Often, this leads to lots of additional views and engagements. On this site, you can see where in the world Facebook live broadcasts are happening right now. You also see a lot of live activity in Southeast Asia. So let's look at some of the features. Facebook Live covers 3 aspects of communication. First, it allows you to have live conversations with your followers. And Facebook Live turns these conversations in very engaging experiences with likes and emoticons flowing over the screen as they come in. And comments showing up as well. Second, you can turn your live broadcast into a visual story like you want to tell it. You can add filters, colors, texts, overlays, etc. Adding augmented reality features is not far away. And thirdly, you can target audiences in multiple ways for your broadcasts. And on top of that, Facebook will give your live broadcast a higher than average organic reach. Old Spice Brazil is a great example of a Facebook Live campaign. They did a 2-day live broadcast to put their antiperspirant product to the test. They turned it into a big marketing campaign with which they reached over 9 million people with the time of the broadcast. There are many ways businesses can use Facebook Live. It's a great tool for promoting your products or services. You can do live tutorials or product launches. It can be used to support your live events. You can do a broadcast during your event and interview an expert who attends the event. It can also be used to support your customers. You can do a live Q&A, ask for feedback, hold a webinar. And Facebook Live also lends itself for sharing news, announce a sale or organize a sales party. Lots of opportunities. It may take a while to build traction with your broadcasts, but if you can maintain the momentum, you can generate plenty of coverage and engagement. A good way to maintain engagement is to turn your live broadcasts into recurring episodes, weekly or monthly, so you can build your campaign around this and build up a library of great content.
It is very easy to start your Facebook Live video. When you are on your company page, what you do, you click on the Publish button on your mobile, and then in the different options you see, one of them is Live Video. You click on your live video, you immediately see what you want on the screen. You can have different background settings if you want to, different filters. You can select where you want to post. And you can then basically click Start the Live button. When you start a live button, you're live. You can still add different effects. You can invite people, you can chat, and basically we are now live. If I now would go to my other phone, and let me just quickly do that, I will go to Facebook and I will go to the Facebook page. So of Simply Learn, and I can see that Facebook, let me go here. Yeah, so I go to the Simply Learn business page, and I can then see that the video is live on the page from Simply Learn. And here I can then engage with the page. You can now also see here in the screen that I have one viewer, and that is me in this case. Here you can also see that I can like, and this is, I think, a really cool feature of the Facebook Live, which shows you the engagement that is happening during the broadcast. It can be a thumbs up, it can be a heart, it can be a smiley face. And I've seen companies do polls with give me a smiley face if you like the product, give me a sad face if you're not happy with the product. And then you can count the number of likes that come in that way. You can also see who is watching, and that's in this case is Mark Ampman. I can then also put in a comment to this post, and I can just say hi and post it, and that comment that will show up on the feed as well. So a very engaging, very interactive process to run your Facebook Live broadcasts. So when I click finish, then what Facebook will do is will save the video, and it will then give you the option to save it on your newsfeed, on your timeline. You can upload it in high definition. So when you save it on your timeline, then when you can share it straight away, or you can save it on your disk. I click share, and now you see that on my business page, in a minute, the page, the live broadcast will show up. Actually, it's already shown up here. And you can then see who was on the video. Yep, you see the comment that came in, and you can see the video, and you can see the engagement in the video as well. So very powerful concept to run Facebook Live broadcasts.
Greetings everyone, this is Rob Sanders, and today I'm going to present Facebook advertising tips and strategies. So thank you for joining. Today we're going to cover a number of tips to help you gain a better advantage on advertising on Facebook. So let's get right to it with tip number 1. And with tip number 1, not all advertisements need to sell something. So remember, you have different objectives on Facebook. You can advertise an event, you can promote a customer story, you can send traffic to your website, or you can get them to download an app. So it all goes back to your objective. So if we go to Facebook and I want to create an ad, remember, my first option is to create an objective. So you have awareness, you have consideration, you have conversion. So depending on what you want somebody to do, that's the objective you're going to choose. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your campaign on Facebook. You need to align your objective with what you want people to do. So tip number 2, we want to use Facebook Messenger for advertising. So Facebook Messenger is a feature that can be used with advertising on Facebook. And it's a good tool, it's a good practice because it allows you to, as the advertiser, to commute with individuals directly. So it's a feature that you should take advantage of because it allows you to quickly engage with your target audience. So that's the beauty of leveraging Facebook Messenger with your advertising. The communication tool is available and for you to engage with your target audience. So it's great for not only interacting, but taking care of any other objections that they have as an audience or prospective client. So you can answer any concerns they have right away. So it's a lot more personal and interactive than other forms of advertising because you're directly communicating with your audience. Tip 3, use video advertisements. I can't stress this enough. Video is very engaging. In fact, it's not only engaging, but it's very easy to use. So if we go to Facebook, really, Facebook is telling us for video, all we need to do is have basically a phone handy and an app and just to be able to upload it. So with Facebook video, you can really drive awareness and you can really drive sales. I mean, you can really make some really splashy videos on Facebook. All you need is a mobile camera. So with Facebook videos, it's really very easy to create. You just got to be creative. That's really the key to videos. You know they're going to be engaging to the end user. Say something, do something that's going to really grab their attention and get them to do what you want them to do. So these are just some of the examples you can see on Facebook, and you can see how creative advertisers are getting. You know, clear call to action, great video or great imagery, good promotional use. So there's a lot you can do with video and really make it interactive. So I can't stress video enough as an option for Facebook. It really is one of the better features with Facebook advertising and really very limited use of resources. All you need is that web camera, an app, and the ability to upload that video. That's really it for video advertisements. So keep in mind, and the reason why I'm harping on those video ads is they tend to outperform your traditional Facebook image ads in other formats like the carousel or the presentation mode. So there's other types of formats on Facebook. Video tends to give it that extra edge because it's very interactive. And in the form of interactivity comes engagement. So in this example, people are going to react, they're going to comment, they're going to share the video. And that's what you want as an advertiser. You want to grab as much reach as possible towards your target audience. And so video will help you do that. It'll help you not only engage with the person, but allow that video to be shared and expand your reach towards your target audience. So remember, video can range from a few seconds all the way up to 120 minutes. So you're really going to get more views regardless of how long the video is, because it's just going to be so interactive. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be full on 120 minutes. It could be, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. To me, that's probably a good range, but just know that you have that leadway if you wanted to. So remember, video ads always perform better than single image ads or other type of image ad formats on Facebook. And they also perform better when they have subtitle support. So just keep that in mind as well, because you may have, individuals watching the video from, different countries speaking different languages. So tip 4, when you're placing your advertisement, where you place your advertisement will play an important role in deciding how many people come across it. So Facebook offers a number of different options to choose from. So remember, you got the news feed, you got instant articles, right column, you got suggested videos. So you got a lot of options at your disposal. There's lots of other options too. So you can have Facebook actually automatically place your ads, or you can specifically tell Facebook where you want to place your ads. And that's all part of the Facebook setup. So if we go to Facebook and then we go to create your campaign. So if we choose ad set, here is where we're going to be able to choose our placement. If we click on choose placement, we'll be able to, allow Facebook to place it, or we can edit the placement specifically. So just keep that in mind. You have a lot of different options here. Again, feeds, instant articles, in-stream videos, you got right column, you even have Instagram. So you have a lot of options available to you. So my recommendation and Facebook's recommendation is always go with the auto placement, but you could specifically choose your placement if you want to when you're setting up your campaign. So start the advertising on the newsfeed could be recommended. The newsfeed is where you're probably going to get your most eyeballs. Most users spend most of their time there, and it has the highest chance of grabbing their attention. So the newsfeed could be a good place to start. Again, you can have it at auto placement, and your ads may be there as well, or you could specifically choose just the newsfeed or other placements. So tip 4, just be careful where you place your ad. It's really important. You want to place your ad where you're going to get eyeballs. So tip 5. Facebook ads also offer you the option to advertise on Instagram. So you have that option available to you. As I mentioned in tip 4, you have the option to advertise through stories, carousel ads, photo ads, and video ads. So again, that's all part of the ad setup. When you go to choose your placements, here you got Instagram feed, you get Instagram stories. And again, with both of those placements on Instagram, you can work with several different types of ads, including that carousel ad, including that video ad. So just keep that in mind, that Instagram is an option for you. Take advantage of it. There's a lot more eyeballs on Instagram these days, and it plays off nicely with what you're trying to do with Facebook. So go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so let's take a quick break from the first few tips we went over, and let's take a look at an ad. So it's an ad break time. So let's take a look at this ad, and this is by New Scientist. And so what makes this ad so great? Well, there's been a lot of shakeup in the world today about fake news. What is fake news? So New Scientist is actually playing off of that. They're mentioning, hey, fake news, not in our world. So they're actually playing off of that term fake news. And so that's an attention grabber. So I think that's what makes this look so good. But this is a single image ad. And you can see here they're promoting this ad with a promotion. So try 12 weeks for just 36 euros. Okay, so they have a promotion in there. So, and you notice the image of the magazine, they're also displaying that, hey, you can look at this digitally on a laptop, a tablet, or a mobile phone. So you have other options as well. So they show you that in the image, which is placed on the right side of their messaging. So for me, this is a good ad because of the placement of the image, the type of image they're using, the play on fake news, and the promotion that they're offering up. So this is really a good ad. It's very eye-catching, and hopefully the promotion's good enough to get you to sign up. Okay, so tip number 6. So tip number 6, we want to continuously do A/B testing. You want to always have this option going for you. You want to be able to test variation A versus variation B, because you want to be able to find out what works and what doesn't work with your audience. And on top of that, it helps you really put your best foot forward by showing your best ad. So by doing A/B testing, you're getting feedback from the audience and turning that feedback into positive returns. So you're then turning your ad that does work well in front of an audience, and you're going to continue to do that. So A/B testing is always a good option. So remember, when you're setting up your ad in Facebook, go ahead and choose to have your A/B test set up, and when you do that, you choose that option, you're going to be able to then go in and choose what it is you want to test with ad A and then with ad B. So you're going to again align your test with a Facebook page. You're going to choose an ad format. Once you choose your ad format, then you're going to be able to go ahead and put your ad in there, and then you're going to choose your call to action. So the whole idea behind an A/B test is you want to be able to find what it is you want to test. Is that going to be the call to action? Is it going to be the messaging? Is it going to be the ad format? So there are lots of things you can test with Facebook on A/B testing. So it's all part of the ad setup. So things you can change, again, are the color of the elements, imaging, text, the call to action, the position of the ad. There's lots of things you could test. That's all part of the Facebook setup. So the thing is, you want to continuously test. That's the key. Continuously test certain elements of an ad. So testing can be done initially on broader elements and then smaller, finer details like statements in your ad copy. So my advice is, when you're actually setting this up on Facebook, think ahead, think what it is you want to choose to test. My advice is maybe start out with a call to action. So if you're in Facebook itself, you have an opportunity to test different call to action. Try that. That's an easy way to test. And then, when you test the call to action, once you find out what works and doesn't work, then you can move on to something more sophisticated, like maybe the image type, or maybe trying different types of imagery or ad types, like the carousel versus single image. So start small, start easy, and then work your way up. Tip number 7. So we want to choose an appropriate call to action in your advertisements that will attract potential customers. So what do we mean? Well, you have different call to actions available to you. You want to choose one that aligns with your ad. So for example, the Simply Learn ad about, hey, learn how SEO works, search engine optimization. So if you're trying to get somebody to, learn or take one of your courses, you're not asking them to actually shop now. You really want them to sign up. So that's the key. We want them to sign up. So use a call to action that makes sense. Tip number 8, choose the right audience for your advertisement. Okay, so what do we mean? So for this, you can consider, website visits, interests. It all depends on your objective. Okay, what is it you want people to do? If it's, customers in the buying process, then that's our objectives to get conversions. Then we want to move somebody over to a product page and get them to purchase. If it's focusing on just website visits, then maybe it's the objective of consideration. Maybe you just want to get people to your website to learn more about your product. So that's the whole idea behind, choosing the right, objective, because you want to align the objective with your ad. Okay, so tip number 9. Create lookalike audiences. And I like lookalike audience because what Facebook does is they create an audience that's similar to the audience you already advertising to or customer base you already have. So in other words, Facebook already has an idea of who your audience is. You can also, provide them with additional information like an email list to give them a better sense of who your audience is. And then what Facebook does is they take that information and they'll put your ad in front of an audience that looks just like the audience you already have. That's why they call it a lookalike audience. So it's a great feature by Facebook. It really allows you to reach a target audience, an audience that's very similar to the audience you currently have. And one example, provide Facebook with an email list. With that email list, they're going to be able to map that email list and be able to identify an audience that you could target. So that's the whole idea behind lookalike audience. It's a great feature by Facebook. Definitely recommend taking advantage of that. Why? Because it will increase the number of people who will find your advertisement relevant. Remember, you're targeting people who are similar to your actual audience, to the people who are already connected with your brand or are already liking your page. So if they're similar to those people, then the chances of them engaging with you are going to be greater. So lookalike audiences tend to perform well because you're targeting an audience that's very similar to your actual audience. Tip number 10. So use the golden point rule on your ad creative. So what do we mean by golden point rule? Well, let's take this ad here as an example. So what we want to do is we want to divide the creative into 9 equally sized boxes. So what we want to do is draw 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines, just like a tic-tac-toe box. And so ideally what we want to do is place the main subject of your ad in the cross sections of the drawn lines. And so what that does is encourages the user to place their focus on those points. The lines are just simply there as a guidance to help you position your messaging. So that's the golden point rule, really, is we want to be able to position our messaging accordingly. So, time for another ad break. So let's take a look at another ad here on Facebook. And this one's by Blue Apron. And so, of all the tips we've talked about, this particular ad takes into account a lot of them, okay? So this is, again, they're using multiple images in this ad here. So again, what they're doing, promotion, they're offering up a $30 off promotion here. And what they're asking you to do is sign up to get that $30 off. So you could see the call to action. We already mentioned that on one of our tips. The call to action matches the ad, so they're asking you to sign up. They're using really good imagery here, and they're supporting that with some good copy and text. So this is what makes this ad so good. I mean, who doesn't like good looking food or tasty food and healthy food? Okay, so they're definitely taking advantage of the imagery with a promotion and with a good call to action. And so remember, we want to A/B test. So Blue Apron is likely testing this ad. So what they could do with this is test different imagery, or they could test a different promotion. So there's a lot they can do here on the A/B testing side. So for me, if I were to test this, I would probably be testing the imageries because we want to be able to see what images get people to sign up. Alternatively, we can also test the offer as well. What offer is going to get somebody to click on that sign up button? So ideally, there's a lot to do here from the A/B test standpoint, and the way they've structured this ad, it makes it very easy to test. So that's what makes this ad really good, is it shows good imagery, has a good promotion, and aligns the CTA. Tip number 11. So we want to place the product in the right hand of your creative. So the right side should contain our product imagery. So why is that? Why? Because there's been a study called the Perceived Product Heaviness and Package Evaluation, and that states that depending on where a product is placed, users would react differently to it. And so the study found that users tend to react more positively when the product is placed on the right side of the ad creative. So here you can see countdown to Black Friday. This is an Amazon related ad, and you can see the product is basically a litter box, which is placed on the right side. So it's a Black Friday ad. They didn't place the image on the left side, they placed it on the right side because people tend to react positively when the product image is on the right side. So keep that in mind when you're placing your imagery. Try to place it on the right side. Tip number 12, don't use images that have more than 20% text. Okay, so you want to use images that are clean. Remember that Blue Apron image we looked at? That was a very clean image of food. No text overlaying the image. So we want to try and stay away from images that have text on the overlay. Okay, so there's no limit to how much text you can add to your creative, but Facebook and myself recommend, hey, the lesser text you have, the more likely it is for your ad to have its desired impact, meaning somebody's going to click on that ad. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let the image do the talking for you. You don't necessarily need to overwhelm the image with words or messages. Tip number 13. So we want to use an ad creative that's attention grabbing and is relevant for your business. So again, going back to that Blue Apron ad, hey, who doesn't like good looking food, good looking healthy food, green food? Well, switching gears, we're looking at a Nike ad. Who doesn't like a good looking shoe here? This is a good running shoe, and Nike is definitely taking advantage of the opportunity to place the shoe against a nice looking background. So here, the image on the left, you got a nice mauve looking color, the shoe on the right on a nice red background to kind of really play into the color of the shoe. And so that's attention grabbing. So the colors kind of match and go with one another, and it tends to grab your attention. So Nike's doing a good job here of just not showing an image of a shoe. Really what they're doing is put the shoe as the central focal point and supporting that with additional color. And they're really putting the messaging kind of as the background behind the shoe. So they're making it as attention grabbing as possible here. So Nike's done a good job with this ad. You know, me personally, I'm not the biggest Nike fan when it comes to shoes, but hey, this ad definitely grabbed my attention because now I could see, you know, this shoe is really popping to me. We don't want to use clip art in your ad creative, okay? And don't use low resolution pixelated images as well. We want to use high quality imagery. So, and use images that are well lit. You know, natural lighting always tends to work well as well. So when you're doing a placement for a product, whether that be food or shoe, you can see here in this plated example, they're putting it on the right image, they're putting it in a natural environment, on a table, on a plate with some paper next to it, you know, and then you could see the one on the left, it's of a person holding a box with the image of plated on it. And so to me, that's not stock imagery or clip art, you know, that's an actual person holding the product. So it's real life. You want to make it as real life as possible and as clear and quality as possible. So when you create attention grabbing ads, you know, show images of people benefiting from your product instead of just having the product itself. So that's always a good idea. In the case of Coca-Cola, you know, these people are enjoying their bottle of Coca-Cola. Well, going back to the Nike ad, you know, they could have had a person wearing that shoe or, you know, running with that shoe. That could have been an alternative for them as well. So the whole idea is just make sure your ads are attention getting and they grab your attention. And if you're going to use people, make sure the person's enjoying it. Just like on the previous image, the person holding the box. We could see she's got a smile on her face and she is enjoying holding that box. So to me, you want to use people with the images to the best of your ability, and that means use that person who's enjoying it. So that's really going to put the product in the forefront. Okay, tip 14, don't hesitate to experiment with your advertisement's creative or its copy. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Really, we want to be refreshing our text. We want to be refreshing our images, okay? So if you're going to place an ad on Facebook, don't let that be the only ad. Okay, if you're using a single image ad, you know, feel free to change out that single image from time to time, especially if a lot of people have seen that ad. So if you're using reach as your objective and you're trying to reach as many people as possible, just keep in mind that if that ad is reaching the same people over and over again, it's going to get stale, and you want to be able to update that ad. So feel free to change out the imagery. Changing out the text is just as easy, okay? So feel free to play around with the text. Even if you're not doing A/B testing, you can always change out the text just to see, hey, if changing out the text actually gets you better engagement or meets your goals. Tip 15, plan your campaigns for the holiday season, okay? So can't state this enough, you know, towards October, November, December, there tends to be a lot of holidays, across multiple religions. Okay, so it's really the time of year where people are in full ad mode and audiences are in full watch mode. So advertisers are really pushing ads that time of year, especially Christmas, and people are accepting of that because they're used to it. So you want to be able to plan accordingly. So if you're doing your ads, you can easily engage with your audience if you're aligning your ad with that time of year. So during Christmas, most people are in the mood for shopping. So it's a time of year where you can really take advantage of increasing your sales, increasing your conversions. So you want to plan accordingly. And so if you're planning, months in advance, you don't have to do a full year. But, for me, if I'm thinking I'm going to do a lot of advertising during the holiday season, I'm probably going to go out maybe once summer ends, probably August, beginning of September. Beginning of September, seasons change a little. I might start thinking about the holiday season. And when you can plan appropriately, you can come out with really good ads. You can think about what you want to say. And so in this case, Target, this particular ad is really promoting Black Friday. So Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving in the United States. And so here, they're letting you know Black Friday's here and there's deals to be had. So planning in advance gives you an opportunity to really, really tweak your messaging and come up with some good creative ideas. So let's take another break and let's look at another good looking ad. This example, we're going to look at Dell. Okay, so Dell, I've seen their ads all over Facebook. They do a lot of different advertising types between videos, carousels. Again, this is a single image ad. What they're really trying to do is get you over to the storefront so you can buy one of these good looking, Dell computers. Okay, so, here, again, they're promoting their latest computer, the Dell Inspiron 3000 series, all in one desktop. So to them, anytime they create a new product, they're going to go ahead and put out a new ad for that product. And here they're putting a little bit of a different twist on it. If you notice, the ad itself is just the image of the product. There's really no promotion here. They're letting the product image speak for itself. They're really showing you, hey, look how good this computer looks. This is our new model, and we got a shop now CTA. So if you're interested, go ahead and click on that shop now. So they're really putting the effort into the image itself. They're not offering any promotion, no discounts. What you see is what you get with the image, and you click on it, you're going to go right to their storefront. So Dell does a good job of really, cranking out their new products whenever they go to market. So tip 16, shorten the amount of time between retargeting your audience. So target people who have visited your website within the span of a month or 2 weeks. So retargeting is reaching out to people who you've already engaged with. So if somebody's seen your ad or somebody's went to your website, somebody's even purchased from you before, you have the opportunity to reach back out to that person. So how often you reach out to that person or how long between their initial engagement and when you retarget them really does depend on what it is you're selling. So if you're selling a pair of shoes, if you're Nike, then chances are somebody's looking for a pair of shoes. It's not going to be a long purchase window, meaning they're not going to wait 2-3 months. So if I'm Nike and somebody's seen my ad, I'm probably going to target that person in a short period of time for retargeting. So it really depends on your product. But you don't want to wait too long between the time they've initially engaged and the time you retarget. So it really depends on your product. Again, if you're selling merchandise, retail, it's probably going to be a smaller time frame. If you're Dell computers, that's a bigger purchase. Somebody's going to take their time. So, you want to target people, for their Dell computer, probably, over a longer period of time. Okay, so just keep the product in mind. You don't want to wait too long. You don't want to keep it too short. So you want to find that nice balance of when you could retarget someone. Okay, tip number 17, keep altering the hook of your ad copy. What do we mean by altering the hook? So here you can see a couple of different options. Option 1, we're talking about, hey, if you're interested in getting some DMCA certification, this is what you need to do. Option 2, a little bit different of a hook. Hey, start your journey to get your DMCA certification. So, just altering the way you're trying to talk to somebody is really what we're after here on tip number 17. You have an ad, especially the text. Remember, we always want to refresh that copy, but if you're testing it, try different hooks, try different ways to talk to people. Okay, it always works well when you can have different types of messaging because people react to different messaging. So an effective strategy would be to create multiple ads with different hooks and see what performs best. So this is an option for A/B testing. Okay, you have an option to add messaging. Go ahead and talk one way in one option, and then, tweak that messaging, tweak that hook a bit in option B, and see what resonates with people. So that's a good option for A/B testing, is always, look at the way you're going to try and, get somebody to convert. Tip number 18, okay, respond to lead ad responses as soon as possible. So remember, one of your ad formats is a lead ad, okay? So if you have a lead ad, basically what you're asking somebody to do is add their name, their phone number, and their email. If you get that information, don't sit on it, react to it. Just like the messaging, the Facebook Messenger, how it's almost instantaneous. Think of the lead ads the same way, okay? You have somebody who's engaging with your ad by providing information. You don't want to sit on it. You want to respond as soon as possible. In fact, when you do engage with that person, let them know you're available on Facebook Messenger, so they can actually then reach out to you via Facebook Messenger just to expedite the communication. But when you get that valuable information from the customer, respond as soon as possible. It's good customer service, because the longer you take to respond, the less likely the customer will want to continue interacting with you. So there's no real good rule of thumb here, except for do it as soon as possible. Okay, tip number 19, add scarcity to your advertisements. So what do we mean by that? Well, in this example, we could see the top 100 registrations get free access. So by putting this into your ad copy, we're hoping your prospects are more inclined to buy your product due to that fear that they're not going to be one of the first 100 registrations. Okay, so it allows you to really put some sense of urgency in the ad to get somebody to react. So that's what we mean by, scarcity. Okay, so by doing so, it could affect the long-term credibility. We don't want to come across as fear-mongering by any means, but hey, if your promotion is the first 100 registrations get free access, then why not? Go ahead and put it in there. Some other examples could be, only 3 days left to register, or first 50 get 50% off, or, hurry now, there's only 2 days left. So there's other language you can put. So play around with the language. But if you only have certain slots available or a certain amount of days left, there's nothing wrong with putting that in the ad copy to get people to react. And so that's the whole idea behind, the scarcity, is you want to be able to let people know, hey, there's a limited edition going on here. If you're interested, go ahead and take advantage. Tip number 20, keep track of your ad relevance scores. So your ads do get scored. So the score ranges from 1 to 10. Okay, so what that score does is it's an indicator to signify the quality and engagement levels. So, if your score is between 1 and 6, then the ad isn't reaching the relevant audience and your audience isn't reacting to it. However, if your relevance score is between 7 and 10, then your ads are reaching the appropriate audience and you're getting a lot of interaction. So keep an eye on that. The lower the number, that means, hey, our ad's not getting to the right audience. And if it's not getting to the right audience, our audience isn't going to react to it. So it all starts with making sure you're reaching your audience with your ad. When your ad is reaching your audience and you're doing A/B testing, your audience is going to react to one of those two ads. So that's always going to help your relevance score. So keep an eye on that relevance score. Okay, so let's take another break here and let's take a look at an ad here by Blue Bottle Coffee. Okay, so I'm a big coffee drinker myself. I frequent Blue Bottle in San Francisco a lot. And so here, this is a nice image, a nice close-up image of coffee, and I really like this. Notice there's really no call to action here. Okay, so they're putting their website URL, the domain, bluebottlecoffee.com. They're saying, hey, we source great coffees, we roast them to perfection, and get them to you fresh. So I can vouch for that. Really putting their brand out there. Okay, so this is more of a brand awareness type ad. That's their objective. Their objective is, if you're going to drink coffee at some other location or with some other brand, hey, take a look at ours. We got good coffee too. We roast them pretty good. good, and we make sure that you get them fresh. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to introduce their brand to you. So this is a good example of a brand awareness ad, single image ad. They're definitely making use of the ad, the image itself, with a nice close-up shot of that roasted coffee. So that's what makes this ad so special. Brand awareness. The image is telling us, hey, this coffee looks pretty good. It looks nice and roasted. It looks pretty fresh. And maybe I'll give Blue Bottle Coffee a try. So that's why they're putting their domain there. Okay, so it's a good brand awareness ad, and the hope is to convert some people over to their brand. Okay, so tip number 21, include emojis in your ad copy. Okay, so emojis we know are popular. You use them in text, you use them on social media. There's hundreds of emojis nowadays that you could pick and choose from. They are really specific. And so here you can see in the case of Simplilearn, hey, if you're taking a digital marketing course with Simplilearn, it doesn't hurt to have some emojis support that message. So you always got the thumbs up, it's a good emoji. The image of the graduation, that's a good emoji. So, you always want to align, really fun, relevant emojis with your messaging. It kind of just helps it stick out a bit, and people resonate with emojis. And so it doesn't hurt to add those emojis in your ad copy. And especially if your competition is not using emojis, you want every advantage you can to have your ad stick out. So emojis is a good way to get your ad to stick out. Tip number 22, use UTM parameters to your ad, which can feed into your Google Analytics account and provide tracking information. So I can't stress this enough. If you're using Google Analytics to track your campaigns, then you want to use UTM parameters. So what do we mean by UTM parameters? Well, let me show you an example. So all you need to do is type in UTM tracking or URL builder in Google, and then you're going to actually get to this page here. So what this does, this is a tool to help you create UTM tracking. So if we're Simplilearn and we want to advertise and drive the audience to a specific page, in this case, Artificial Intelligence Masters Program page. So this is going to be the URL, but we want to append that URL with some UTM tracking parameters. Our campaign source parameter, we're going to put Facebook because that's the source of where we're advertising. The medium in which we're driving that traffic to the page from Facebook is CPC, which stands for cost per click. And then we're just going to put campaign name AI engineer to identify what it is that campaign is related to. So notice that the only required parameter is campaign source. In this case, we're going to put Facebook, but we can also use campaign content if we want to differentiate the different ads that we have. So you can use campaign content parameter as well. You don't have to. The only required parameter is campaign source. My recommendation, go all lowercase, okay? And then when you're done, you have a URL that you can use in your advertising. So when somebody actually goes to that URL, notice the URL includes the UTM tracking, and then Analytics is going to be able to pick up that campaign from where? Facebook. The medium is going to be CPC, and the campaign in this case is going to be AI engineer. And that's what you're going to look for in Google Analytics. So it helps you track your ads more closely. Because if you don't use UTM tracking, for example, on Facebook, then Analytics might interpret that traffic coming from that ad as, organic social. So we want to be able to identify specifically the campaign you're running by putting in different variables for those parameters. So that's what UTM tracking is. You want to use it for all your Facebook advertising. Okay. So it really helps you, in Analytics, identify how your campaign's performing. Not only is it driving traffic, but is the campaign converting for you? So if you're trying to get somebody to sign up for a class, then Analytics is going to help us measure those conversions. But with UTM tracking, we can bridge the gap between how many people Facebook delivered or drove to our site from the ad and how many of those people actually converted. So UTM parameters help bridge that gap. Tip 23, use exclusion marketing to improve your Facebook return on investment by not including people who have already taken the action desired by you. Okay, so this is a very key feature here. So if we've already advertised and people have reacted to our ad and have subscribed, then we don't want to target that person again. So that's what exclusion marketing is. We want to be able to, target people that we're really after. So if somebody's looked at our ad and did not convert or did not go to our website or did not download something or whatever it is we wanted them to do, then those are the people we want to focus in on. Okay, so in this case, exclusion marketing, we're going to exclude people who have subscribed. In this case, we're going to retarget people, meaning advertise again to people who have not subscribed. So that's what the exclusion marketing feature does. It helps you really hone in on where you're targeting and retargeting. So that way you're not hitting the same people over again. And that's only going to lead to poor performance. Tip 24. Track the right metrics for your business. So keep your eye on important metrics. What are those metrics? Those are going to be KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators, and KPIs differentiate from metrics because KPIs are related to business goals. So track the right metrics for your business. What are the right metrics for your business? More than likely, it's going to be conversions or conversion rate, but you could be running a brand awareness campaign, just like Blue Bottle Coffee did. And so if you're running a brand awareness campaign, then maybe your KPI or metric is going to be a click, okay, or click-through rate. How many people are actually reacting to our ad? Okay, so you always want to align the right metric with your business. Okay, it's just very important that you're measuring against the right metric. If you're not, then it's going to be misaligned in terms of how you judge the campaign performance. Another set of metrics could be reach and frequency. So reach and frequency allow us to measure how many people saw the ad, and post engagement can determine how many users are reacting to your ads. CPC helps us determine the cost effectiveness or how much we're paying for every click. You could see that information in your Facebook ad manager. For example, if I go to Facebook's ads manager, here I'm looking at some ads that we're running. Here, what can I see? I can see my reach, how many people I'm actually reaching, the frequency in which they're seeing my ad. Notice I can see my relevancy score. I can also see my cost per result. I can see the total clicks. So I have a whole set of metrics available to me. Really what I want to do is pick and choose the metrics that are most important to the ad I'm running. Okay, so if it's reach, am I reaching the full amount of people possible if I'm running a brand awareness campaign? Or it could be some other metric like conversions. So we want to be able to align the right metric with the right ad. Tip 25, take advantage of Facebook's location tracking tool for your advertisements. So Facebook allows us to advertise up to 25 countries with different states, provinces, cities, districts, and zip codes. So we can really hone in location-wise on where we want to target. So Facebook allows us to do that. So basically, it could be somebody in a particular area or people who have recently been there or traveling to that location or actually live there. So really, you can hone in on a specific location based on certain set of criteria. So with this, you could take your marketing to the next level by approaching your competitors' customers by offering them better discounts. So that's the whole idea. Targeting your advertising on a specific location, and then knowing that your competitors are there, you can really put out some really good ads with some really good offers to really convert some of those people in that audience. Okay, let's take a look at another ad. Okay, so Grammarly, this is an ad that they've put out there. And again, you notice there's no real true call to action associated with a single image ad. Here, it's all about messaging. Here, they're saying, hey, download it free today. Okay, and so it's a browser extension that they're promoting. And really, they're trying to get you to identify with this particular brand that offers a specific product. So they do have a promotion in there. It's brand awareness. Hey, your life is about to change. I mean, the messaging is pretty matter of fact. They're trying to get you to, hey, I need this in my browser as an extension. So for me, this ad is all about the messaging here. Okay, so with Grammarly, if you're in Gmail, you're in Word, you're in Outlook, they got you covered by using their browser extension. It's free, and by using it, It's going to make your life a lot easier. So for me, the ad works from a messaging standpoint. Not really big on the imagery, but it's really about this is who we are, and we can really rock your world if you use this browser extension. So they're really putting a lot of emphasis on the messaging. So for me, anytime somebody says my life's about to change, they've got my attention.
Now let's get started. First off, let's have a look at an introduction to Facebook. Facebook was first launched in February 2004 and was initially known as the Facebook. In 2005, it removed the from its name, and it has now become the Facebook we all know today. It is now the world's most popular social media and social networking service. Next, let's have a look at Instagram. It was launched in 2010 for iOS and then in 2012 for Android by Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger. Instagram has now evolved to become one of the fastest growing social media platforms in the world. In April 2012, thanks to its popularity, it was acquired by Facebook for approximately $1 billion in cash and stock. Now let's compare some stats between Facebook and Instagram. First, let's have a look at the worldwide stats. First off, Facebook. Like I mentioned earlier, Facebook is the largest social media platform in the world. Reaching almost 60.6% of the internet, it has 2.5 billion monthly active users and approximately 1.6 billion active users. In fact, as of Jan 2020, the US has approximately 190 million and India has approximately 280 million Facebook users, an indication of a market that's still ripe for the picking. Now, let's have a look at Instagram. Instagram, although having released significantly later, earns its title of the fastest growing social media platform with 1 billion monthly active users and 500 million daily users. In the United States, there are approximately 120 million, and India has close to 88 million Instagram users. Next up, let's have a look at the next statistic, age group of the user base. First off, Facebook. Although there's a general opinion among the younger population that Facebook isn't hip or isn't used all that much anymore, this statistic has something different to say. Turns out more than 65% of Facebook users are between the ages of 25 and 34. For Instagram, it's no surprise that 71% of the user base are under the age of 35. Next, let's compare the usage time of both these platforms. Let's take Facebook first. In the United States, users spend approximately 1 hour on Facebook every day. In India, users spend an average of 3 hours a day on Facebook. Shockingly high numbers for a platform that's assumed to be dead, isn't it? On the other hand, in the United States, users spend 23 minutes on average on Instagram. In India, users spend approximately 45 minutes. Now for the most important stat, marketing. For Facebook, 86% of marketers use it for advertising. Instagram is used by 71% of businesses for their marketing requirements. Now let's have a look at some industries that can work well on both these platforms. If you do belong to any of these industries, if you're not taking advantage of these platforms, you're missing out. So let's have a look at some industries that can capitalize on Facebook. Food and beverage companies, news and media, e-commerce, automobile, and packaged goods. Next time you're on Facebook, take a closer look at your feed. There's a good chance you'll see most of these industries' posts on it. Next up, Instagram. We have industries like fashion, athleisure, cosmetics, automobiles, and food and beverages. I can guarantee that if you take a closer look, you can find all these industries advertising on Instagram. Now let's take a closer look at how Facebook can help with marketing. First off, let's have a look at Facebook business pages. Now these are basically platforms where you can create an online presence for your organization for free. Moreover, they've got some great advantages to offer you as well. First off, your business page can keep your customers or potential customers informed. It can be about a new product launch, a webinar, a live broadcast, a new store opening, anything. Whatever it is, it can go on your Facebook business page. It connects people with your products and services. With your page, you get greater visibility, letting people know about the products and services that you offer. You can offer customer service as well. In fact, according to American Express, 90% of users use customer service as a deciding factor for whether or not they continue to do business with an organization. So, customer service is pretty important. Like I mentioned earlier, your business page provides a place where you can offer your followers offers and other advantages. And finally, the page lets you build a community, a highly targeted community that has a higher possibility of buying your products and services. Next, we have Facebook groups. With Facebook groups, you can build a community of like individuals. Some of the advantages that come with this are it provides a highly targeted audience. I mentioned earlier that business pages provide you with a highly targeted audience. Groups take that to the next level. It enables everyone to learn from one another. With a large community, there's a good chance that some members know things that others don't. Your group will enable them to communicate with each other and learn these new things. You also get honest feedback. Your customers, who are also likely part of the group, will be able to give their feedback on how they liked your product and perhaps even give you tips on how to improve. Now, since your group is filled with a community that's highly interested in your brand, you can also increase engagement in an organic manner. And as an extension of the previous point, you also get more leads and conversions. Next, Facebook has events. With Facebook events, your organization will be able to mobilize your brand and enable online consumer marketing. Basically meaning that you have a platform for letting people know about important announcements. Not to mention, there's also the opportunity to get some free advertising done. Events also help you increase brand awareness. Most people get to know about your brand by attending the event or just seeing the promotion for it. Now let's have a look at Facebook Stories for groups and pages. A feature that is available for both groups and pages, it provides you the ability to appropriately represent your brand or business directly from your mobile device or desktop. Now, some of its advantages are that it helps you engage with your audience with stuff other than the usuals, like articles, videos, and other similar posts. This way, you can also vary the kind of content that you post. Moreover, stories can help you humanize your brand. Rather than seeming like you're pandering to your audience or seeing them only as potential leads or customers, stories help your brand show that you're genuinely interested in your audience. You can also reach your appropriate audience with greater frequency. Next, Facebook has Facebook Messenger. With Messenger, you can connect and interact with your audience at a personal level. In the last few years, Messenger has proved itself to be a great marketing tool. It helps acquire more customers. Now, people are more loyal to a brand that genuinely cares about them, and by directly interacting with them through Messenger, their loyalty towards you is certainly set to improve. And as an extension of the previous point, you also get a greater number of transactions. And even if a customer doesn't give you a transaction, at least you're increasing your brand awareness. Then we have Facebook Live. Facebook Live gives you a platform to interact with your audience in real time. It can be used to diversify your content, providing your audience with something different from what they've received from your brand initially. Live can also be used to show what happens behind the scenes in your organization, further helping humanize your brand. And finally, you can also provide instant questions and answers to your audience, increasing engagement with them. Next, we have the Facebook Shop. The Facebook Shop is a business page tab application that enables your customers to purchase your products directly from your store. It also has the following advantages. Firstly, you can use the shop to drive new sales. You can give the customers who are on the fence about your product a small push by engaging them. And how can you do that? With deals and promotions. You can also reward advocates of your brand with special benefits to be availed from your store. And finally, you can build brand awareness and recognition. Now let's have a look at Facebook ads. Facebook ads help spread product or brand awareness in the newsfeed of a specific targeted audience on Facebook. Now, some of the advantages of Facebook ads are that they help increase brand awareness, they enable you to advertise your products and services to the appropriate audience, and it provides you with greater reach while making you spend lesser amounts of money. It also helps you re-advertise or retarget your products to an existing audience. And finally, it helps increase revenue, sales, and leads. If you guys are interested in learning about Facebook ads, you can check out our Facebook ads video. I'll add it in the live chat, so you can check it out if you're interested. Now let's have a look at the final feature Facebook offers to help you with marketing. Facebook Insights. I'm sure all of you have heard about Google Analytics. Let's just say this is Facebook's version of that. With Insights, you get information that can help you refine your brand strategy by tracking and measuring results. It can help you determine reach and engagement, actions, people who are viewing your posts, when your fans are online, the type of posts that are working for you, and much, much more. That brings us to the end of the ways Facebook helps you with marketing. Now let's move on to Instagram. First off, we have Instagram business accounts. Instagram business accounts enable brands to be recognized as businesses. Now it also has the following benefits to offer. It's only with a business account that you can get Instagram Insights. We'll talk about Insights in a little more detail in a little bit. You can also add a contact button on your profile, enabling users to connect with you directly. You can also specify what kind of service you offer by adding what industry you belong to in your bio. And finally, you also have the ability to add links to your Instagram stories. Now, I'm sure you've all seen the See More option in your stories, so now you know how that shows up. Now, if you guys are interested in finding out how you can increase followers on Instagram, you can check out our video on the same topic of the same name. I'll add the link in the live chat. Next, let's talk about Instagram Stories. With Instagram Stories, you have the ability to grow engagement, build brand awareness, and to drive sales. You can also use stories to provide recent updates about your brand. Now, some of the advantages of Instagram Stories are that they help businesses grow their audience and can enable them to engage with their audience regularly. With stories, you can also drive traffic to other websites, like your company's website. It can also help diversify your content, setting it apart from the usual videos and photos. Next up, let's talk about Instagram DMs or direct messages. DMs help you grow your business by interacting with customers at a personal level. It can also help build connections with your users. By building a personal connection with your followers, their loyalty towards your brand is improved. Not only that, it helps you make or grow your connections within the industry. And as an extension of the last few points, this leads to easier lead generation and increased sales. Next up, we have IGTV. Now, IGTV is a platform that's gotten really famous recently. It enables your brand to get closer to its audience and enables it to be discovered by new people. Other benefits include greater visibility of your products and services, having the ability to educate and entertain your audience, improved engagement, and greater chances of conversions. Finally, it also helps build a community of a highly targeted audience. Next, we have Instagram Live. Instagram Live enables you to communicate with your audience in real time, further improving your discoverability and strengthening your connection with the audience. Moreover, it provides a lot of visibility. Your followers are immediately notified when you go on a live stream. And finally, it helps you interact with your audience in real time. This helps further humanize your brand. Next, we have Instagram Ads. Instagram Ads provides you with control over advertisements. You decide how they appear and who sees them. Like Facebook, Instagram has a number of different ad types to offer. They are photo ads, video ads, carousel ads, slideshow ads, and stories ads. Next up, Instagram offers an Instagram shop. The shop helps you incorporate your product catalog with your Instagram profile. At some points, even enabling users to access the shop directly from an image showing the same product. One of the major advantages of the Instagram shop is that it provides easy product discoverability. And since it provides visual marketing, it also leads to more sales. And finally, Instagram Insights. Instagram's answer to Facebook Insights and Google Analytics. Insights is an analytical tool that provides data on follower demographics, their actions, and your brand content. It helps determine engagement, impressions and reach, best and worst performing content, profile visits, website clicks, and much more.
And with that, we have come to an end of this Facebook ads full course video for 2021. I hope it was informative and interesting. If you have any questions about the topics covered in this video, please ask away in the comment section below. Our team of experts will be happy to solve all your queries. Thank you for watching, stay safe and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.